Episode 2 of the camp position battle video. We are talking running backs. What is up, Finn fans? Hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. I have a special episode tomorrow with Big O, so bringing him back. I haven't talked to him in a hot minute, so I thought, well, this is a perfect time. There's not a lot going on. Hopefully there's something goes on. And we're going to talk football. We're going to talk to his contract. Is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Tyreek Hill. We're going to talk about the team going forward. We're going to talk about a lot. We normally do. But that will be tomorrow. Today we are talking running backs. We are talking the battle. Who is battling to make the position and all that good stuff. But before we jump into that, I have to shout out today's sponsor, and that is Clean the World. Sean Sleipler has a fantastic company that goes out of their way to help people of need, whether it's third world countries, whether it's natural disasters, whether it's the homeless. He puts together great kits. He gets some shower stations. He repurposes soap for all of these people. If you want to learn more about it, click the link in the description, cleantheworld.org. Check him out. He has t-shirts. You see me wearing. Wash your hands, bro. Does a lot of fantastic things. So be sure to go check him out. So let's jump into this Mama Jam, and we're going to talk about the running backs we have on this roster. Currently, we have 6 running backs on this roster. Could there be more? Could there be less? This is a possibility. It could be an interchanging type of thing. But I'm gonna give you guys a little thought process on each person, and then we will talk about the battle. So we got Raheem Mostert. Last year rushed for 1,045 yards, which was 12th in the NFL. He had 18 rushing touchdowns, total of 21 touchdowns with 3 more receiving touchdowns. That 18 rushing touchdowns was tied for first in the NFL. His 21 overall touchdowns was the best the Dolphins have had since Ricky Williams. He has 728 yards after contact, which is 13th in the NFL. And missed tackles, he has 54 of them, which is tied for 7th. So, a lot of people will like to think that this, the running game is kind of finesse-esque, but he runs hard. And 10 plus rushing, 10 rushes that are 10 plus yards, he has 30 of them, which is tied for 5th. Raheem Mostert had a fantastic year last year. Unfortunately, he got banged up at some point, so he did miss some games, which sucks because we could have definitely used him, especially against the Ravens. But there's your Raheem Mostert. Then we have the rookie, not rookie anymore, Achane. Everyone was calling him a different name, and then he was like, no, it's Achane. I think we were calling him Achane or Achane. I think we're calling him Achane. It's Achane. He had 813 rushing yards, which was 26th in the NFL, but he only played 12 games because he as well got banged up. So he missed 5 games. You could just imagine how many rushing yards he would have had if he didn't miss those 5 games, because his yards per attempt were 7.5, which was number 1 in the NFL. He had 8 touchdowns, which is tied for 12th in the NFL. His yards per contact per attempt. So per attempt, how many times he broke tackle, got yards after contact, was 4.94, which was number 1 in the NFL. And his elusiveness rating on PFF is 142.3. It's a schematic that they made up, which is number 1 in the NFL. So the 1-2 punch of Mostert and Achane was very effective. It just so happened that they kept getting banged up, so they weren't on the field together as much to be that effective. Also, the offensive line was also getting banged up, which took a toll on the run game. Then you had Jeff Wilson Jr. No, it's just Jeff Wilson. I got Cedric Wilson Jr. mixed up. Jeff Wilson, who helped us win that Cowboys game, getting the first down, getting us in field goal position to win that game. He didn't do much for a good portion of the beginning of the season. He was healthy, but it was healthy scratches. He didn't do much, but when he got on the field, he does run hard. You have Savon Ahmed, another guy who we retained, surprisingly retained twice. We retained him last year and we retained him this year. another guy who kind of fits in that Mike McDaniel system. You have Chris Brooks. Was he undrafted? No, I think he was a 7th-round pick. Yes. Big guy, big physical guy, never really got a chance. We'll probably see him in the preseason. Again, if he keeps busting off runs like he did last preseason, it's kind of hard not to try to give him a chance. And then we have Jalen Wright, who we traded into the 4th, giving up a 3rd-round pick to pick this guy. Ran a 4.38 40, the 2nd fastest running back in this draft, tied 6th overall fastest player in the draft, and he is the 2nd best ranked running back in this draft, and the Dolphins got him in the 4th round. I think Jalen Wright is going to be a very big future piece for this team, and if it is anything like Achane, Mike McDaniel knows what he's looking for. So looking at the competition here, to me, your 1, 2, 3 is Mostert, Achane, and Jalen Wright. That is your top 3. The competition to make the roster is between Jeff Wilson, Salvon Ahmed, and Chris Brooks. To me, the odd man out seems to be Chris Brooks. He might be another guy who goes to the practice squad. And then you have Jeff Wilson and Salvon Ahmed. Both of these guys have played in the same system that Mike McDaniel runs. Both of these guys are familiar with Mike McDaniel. To me personally, if I had to choose, I would run the offense with 4 running backs, being Mostert, Achane, Jalen Wright, and Chris Brooks. I would let Jeff Wilson and Salvon Ahmed go. Or I'd let Salvon Ahmed go and Chris Brooks go to the practice squad, and my 4 running backs would just be Mostert, Achane, Jalen Wright, and Jeff Wilson. Because to me, Jeff Wilson and Chris Brooks are kind of those hard running backs. But Chris Brooks is a little bit more physical than Jeff Wilson is, and that's the thought process there. Again, you go into the late part of the season. That's why when free agency came, I was like, go get Derrick Henry. Because you come up to the late part of the season and you have a Derrick Henry on your team who's able to run, especially if we plug in Derrick Henry, who's up there in age, can still do it. But you plug him in this offense with this running back room, and all of a sudden he's not having to be the bell cow, even though we can use him in 3rd and shorts, we can use him in goal line, we can use him at the end of the year. But we didn't. And we drafted a guy who I'm very happy with. And our big guy is essentially Chris Brooks, and Jeff Wilson, again, does run hard. So to me, the odd man out and the guy who has a kind of an uphill battle is Salvon Ahmed. I don't see him making the team. I didn't see him making the team last year, and he did. So I could be wrong. I'm probably going to be wrong. I could see Salvon Ahmed and Chris Brooks trying it. We'll try to stash him on the practice squad, and then running with those 4. But I would like to see more from Chris Brooks. I like what I saw in his limited time in the preseason. We all keep clamoring for it, especially in those situations where Mostert and Achane were getting banged up. And that is, again, the reason why last offseason I was like, we should bring in Dalvin Cook, because our running backs tend to get banged up towards the end of the year. And again, another reason why I wanted to bring in Derrick Henry, because our running backs tend to get banged up by the end of the year. And that's where you need to have running football. That's where you need to have that style in your game. Now, that's not necessarily our style as the Miami Dolphins, but it needs to be implemented. I almost said implemented. Not a word. It needs to be implemented, because when you're in the cold, when you're in those situations, you can't be throwing it every down. You can't be throwing it much. Look at the Tennessee Titan game 2 years ago. Everyone looks at it as, oh, Tua Tagovailoa sucks, and blah, 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 blah. Ryan Tannehill threw the ball 17 times. Tua Tagovailoa threw the ball 30-plus times. Do you see the difference in what happened? So when you get to that point in the season where, okay, it's cold now, this is where you start to play that hard-nosed, trench-style, run-the-ball football. Will Mike McDaniel shift it up? I don't know. But to me, the only running back on this roster that could possibly do something like that is Chris Brooks, unless the Dolphins make a surprise trade or a surprise signing of, like, again, Dalvin Cook is still out there. There are some running backs that are still out there, but I'd be absolutely shocked if they went out and got another running back. So To me, your battle is between Chris Brooks, Savon Ahmed, and Jeff Wilson to see who makes the roster. And like I said, I could see Chris Brooks going to the practice squad, Savon Ahmed not making it, and Jeff Wilson making it. There's your 4. Or supplement Jeff Wilson and Chris Brooks. But comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Who out of the, like, obviously we all think that most of Achane and Jalen Wright are your top 3 running backs. Who out of the other 3 do you think make the roster and in that battle? But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, me and Big L are going to chat. And then I think I'm going to do another camp battle video because on Thursday I'm going to get an MRI on my shoulder. So I'll be out of commission for most of the day. So I'll pre-record wide receivers camp battle position. We got a lot of receivers. So that one's going to be a good one. Then Friday I get another video. Hopefully sometime this week we get the training camp dates, but I think it's going to be next week because I looked at last year's date when they released them and it was like in the 20s that they released the camp dates. But like the Jets released theirs, the Packers just released theirs yesterday. It's like I need to book my flight and pick a date when I'm going down there. Like, come on, guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. But other than that, like usual, stay classy. My friends up.